Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman or God, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, to all the sages and saints of this world, and to each of you, divine soul, watching today's satsang. So today we will be covering Sutra number 41 from the Vibhuti Pad of the Raja Yoga Sutras of Patanjali Maharaj. Commentary by my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj, and narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started. Sutra number 41. Shrotra Akashayoh Sambandha Sanyama Divyam Shrotram. Let's repeat. Shrotra Akashayoh Sambandha Sanyama Divyam Shrotram. What that means is, by practicing samyama, again intense deep meditation on the relation between the ear sense and the ether element, one acquires the power of supersensory hearing. So again, all these are siddhis and powers by the power of samyama. Without samyama, nothing will happen. So we will have to have that deep focused meditation on these objects wherever the yogi decides. But that power has to be developed to that point where you become siddh, you master it, in other words. So the senses are not the physical organs in this case, such as the eyes, ears. In dream, you perceive the objects without your objects, isn't it? We hear without our ears, we see without our eyes, and all the dream experience you're having is without your physical sense organs. So that means that that experience is coming from your subtle channel, not from these objects of eyes, ears, and so on. So they are subtle processes of the mind. So your mind goes in the heart, and therefore we find peace when we sleep. The ether element also is a subtle substance. It's very subtle. Ether, air element is called above air, the akash, we call it in Hindi. Akash, or the sky that has ether. Ether gives us space, and that's the space element, is a subtle substance. And by practicing samyama on the relationship between the ether element and the subtle ear sense, so when you try to correlate the two, then the yogi develops this power of supersensory hearing, which means he can hear things thousands of miles away. And all he has to do is go to the ether and then connect his sense of hearing with that ether in from the astral body perspective. Again, way beyond science, way beyond everybody's proof. This is why these are holy scriptures and holy guidance. It's not for the argumentative people or people who are just trying to follow the intellectual path and trying to see proof of everything. The proof of the pudding is in its eating, and therefore the yogis don't get into this dilemma of trying to show everything. They just walk on this path, and their proof is themselves. They actually experience this within themselves, and therefore they have been able to compose these vast scriptures and give us this vast knowledge due to their love and care for all of humanity. They want each of us to be getting to the same stage because they were unselfish, they were kind, they were giving. They achieved that state where they saw pain and wanted to help everybody, and just like they were helped. So therefore they took the time and the wisdom to give us these holy scriptures. So therefore this is not a matter of arguing or bringing our intellectual faculties too much. Just feel it, enjoy the process. The feelings cannot be expressed, right? Each person can have different feelings. They're different for each one of us. So therefore we just have to go with what feels right to us, what makes us tick and what makes us progress. And that's what is our proof. We don't need all these scientific evidences and so on, because that's really not what's needed. We are here for a little amount of time, then we are all going to depart. So the question is, what is important to us while we are alive, and how should we absorb that? So this is not a materialist viewpoint, this is a spiritual viewpoint, and only those spiritual souls who feel connected to this will benefit. And again, Vibhuti Pad is not an idea, it's not, they're basically just sharing these things to say, look, this is all that meditation can do. So a serious yogi expects these things as a reward, as a blessing, as he's walking on this holy path. But then he is getting all these. Again, sage Patanjali had clearly warned us that do not get stuck in these siddhis. These are just blessings to show you that you are progressing. That's nothing more than that. And again, these are not they won't happen in a chronological sequence to everybody either. Some may get them, some may not, and yet they may be advancing very much so. But these are just general guidelines that the sage Patanjali Maharaj is sharing with each of us as we walk along. So if you see these happen to you, he's trying to say, yeah, they do exist, but don't live to just accomplish that. That's not the goal. The goal is to get liberated, or to find peace and happiness, expansion in your heart. When those things start to happen, only then can we say we are evolving in a truly humble and a practical way that is going to be good for our soul. So this is Swami Nikhilananda. More till next time. Om Tat Sat.